for T minus 10 minutes. T minus 10 minutes. Make sure that everybody sets their phones to quiet.
Yes. You want me to stand in just to make sure that you got your exposures and stuff?
Oh, I think it's
Now that
fine.
it's pulled down.
Oh, it's pulled down. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that looks good. We'll say this now for everyone who's in here. If you just make sure that your phones are on silent. Phasers on stun, as we say.
Kind of bring up the mic.
Can you use them?
They are muted.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, I just got something coming through. I just got the PowerPoint pushing right now.
On behalf of the entire board, I am delighted to welcome you all to our virtual Women of Achievement event. We are coming to your computer screen live from Wonderworld's West End studio. Now, this is the YWCA's first live stream event, so we hope your technical experience is a good one. We, of course, wish we could all physically be together at YWCA, but we'll have to make the most of our virtual time together. Please do use the chat box to say hello. Let us know you're watching. Before we get started, I want to take a moment to thank our wonderful sponsors of this event, Food Lion and PNC Bank. We are so grateful for their support of YWCA and our Women of Achievement event. Please join me in thanking Food Lion and PNC. We are also grateful to you, all of you tuning in with us today to celebrate the incredible work that our 2020 Women of Achievement do to promote social justice in our community. Ashley Jackson, Valeda Fullwood, and Judy Selden Cohen are 3 women who dedicate their lives to bettering our world. They work tirelessly toward the goals stated in YWCA's mission, eliminating racism, empowering women, and promoting peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all. Before we celebrate these amazing women, we want to take a moment to celebrate you, our donors. You're our advocates, you're our YWCA family, and your support of YWCA's mission makes a remarkable impact on our community, and we thank you. We hope this next video will remind you of the impact your gift to the YWCA makes.
My husband and I donate to the YWCA because we really, really love what the organization stands for and what it actually does. I mean, I think it's really important to find an organization that puts its money where its mouth is and really creates a positive impact for the community. So I think, for me personally, I think that the Women in Transition program is just wonderful. I think it's very organized. I think it really helps bridge that gap between disadvantaged women and just giving them that assistance that they need to kind of progress. And I think that kind of goes back to kind of seeing my mother struggle for a bit growing up. So I became aware of the YWCA around 7 years ago. I started volunteering with the organization and then also donating. So when I look at the mission of the YWCA to eliminate racism and to empower women, I mean, I think everybody can get on board with those 2 things. I think in particular, I think empowering women, that's what's really held me close to the organization. I think just by supporting women, especially disadvantaged women, women of color, we could really break the generational poverty that occurs in families. And I think that, again, being a first-generation Latina, that's just huge for me. So I think that people have this perception that a lot of nonprofits and even the YWCA is just handouts, and that's not what's happening. I mean, I think the Women in Transition program, for example, holds their residents accountable. I think having coaches and having counselors and having people that really hold you accountable to those results is huge. When you actually look at the results from the Women in Transition program, for example, and their success rate, to actually see the results, I think that's what keeps me motivated, right? I mean, I think I believe it's over 80% of the women are in a better financial position after they go through the program. That's just huge for me. My name is Ida Beth Amparo, and we are at the YWCA of the Central Carolinas.
I had a friend from high school that lives in Salisbury, and I was having a difficult time getting myself together in New York City. So she suggested that I come down here to stay with her in Salisbury. My very first job was in Charlotte, so I thought it'd be convenient for me to move to Charlotte as far as work is concerned. Well, there was an issue with my friend who was into illegal drug activity. So I made the decision to remove myself from the situation. And even though I knew it was gonna be harder for me As far as housing, I just prayed and I did whatever work I had to do to make the situation I was in better. When I first walked into the door of the YWCA, I felt very safe. There was a front desk with someone there always monitoring incoming traffic, outgoing traffic, and then at night for there also to be a security guard here, I felt even more safe. Having my own room and just having my own privacy, it honestly made me feel more like a woman. Rebecca is the director. She's great. My case manager, Amy Rose, wonderful. I always look forward to meeting with her. The staff always wanted to know if I need anything. Amy would call me to check on me. I really felt welcomed here. I honestly got the feeling that people cared. I got the feeling that the staff wanted to see me do well independently and do better leaving the program. And to me, that's the moral support a lot of people need to move forward. It felt great getting my U-Haul truck. It just felt great knowing on this day I am moving into my own apartment. It was awesome. So it's only been a little over a month now and it still feels surreal. It hasn't really set in, but every day after a long day of work, I look forward to going home to my own place. It's wonderful. Because when I was in the place prior to here, I almost gave up, honestly. I didn't think, because I wasn't sure when I applied to the YWCA if they would accept me, what am I going to do? So I felt like having this opportunity, the next step had to be something much better than a room. It had to be. Because it did take stress off getting my own place. I feel like a totally different person. I'm starting school at ECPI November 9th. For medical assisting. It is an associate program and I will be going for 15 months. And I'm very excited to be going back to school because my passion is in the health field. I want to get back into medical care before I get too old. So I feel good, I feel great, I feel like this is the time to strike while the iron's hot. So if I want to go to school, I'm going to school. My name is Keziah Singleton, and we are at the YWCA on Park Road.
Thank you, Shelley, for starting our celebration this evening, and thank you, Keziah and Heidi, for sharing your passion for our mission. We're so grateful that you're a part of our YWCA family. Keziah and Heidi exemplify empowered YWCA women. Heidi Beth and her husband, like many of you, have chosen to support our YWCA so that they can encourage women, and especially women of color, as they take on life's challenges. Heidi has seen YWCA's mission in action and is committed to supporting it. We are so grateful to Heidi and to all of you for making the choice to support our mission. Despite some roadblocks along the way, Keziah has taken control of her life. She found a new job, moved into her own apartment, and is now returning to school. Every one of us at YWCA is inspired by Keziah. Thank you, Keziah, for sharing your story with us and for letting us be a part of your journey. And thank you to all of our guests whose donations have provided safe, affordable housing and case management for Keziah and for so many others. Good evening to our donors, past and present women of achievement, guests of our honorees. While we'd love to be with you in person tonight, your virtual presence is a gift to all of us. Please know that we are all wearing masks and socially distant in this theater, except when we're speaking to the camera. The last time we were with many of you was on a snowy February day. That seems like a lifetime ago, with hundreds of YWCA friends gathered at the Westin to celebrate our powerful mission. At that event, we shared plans to transform over 3 acres of our Park Road property into 104 units of affordable housing to make a world of good for generations to come. Just days after, the pandemic became local and we powered down our YWCA. We staffed as minimally as we could to protect and to support women and children living on campus. We shuttered our fitness center. School buildings closed, and like teachers across the country, our youth program staff pivoted to provide virtual support to students. Our racial justice and advocacy work moved out of meeting rooms and into Zooms. In the midst of this pandemic, the persistent epidemic of racism became undeniable. The words of James Baldwin reminded us, "Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced." With heavy hearts, we continued to lean all the way into our mission. A hunger for justice and equity led us to rethink how we teach and support our students in youth programs. Our students need to develop a solid sense of their own identity and the critical thinking skills that will help them to navigate the world and be agents of change in it. This semester, our team has been deeply engaged in using culturally and historically responsive literacy to help our students with these skills. Our residents kept their eyes on the future. Even during the early months at the height of a fearful pandemic, 3 of our families and 19 of our women joyfully moved on into their own permanent housing. We hosted, on our own or with partners, numerous virtual sessions on voter education, on how the pandemic has disproportionately negatively impacted people of color, on disparities in healthcare, on preserving affordable housing, on having crucial conversations, on pay equity. We met with our neighbors, moving through the process to officially rezone the Park Road property for future housing, all virtually. The unanimous vote to rezone was a beacon of light shining on challenging times, a key milestone that brings us ever closer to welcoming our future neighbors. And on September 14th, 6 months after powering down, we safely reopened our fitness center at a reduced capacity. All of the thought and planning that went into our new protocols has been embraced and reinforced by our fantastic fitness members and staff. I have always been grateful for a board fully committed to eliminating racism, to empowering women, to promoting peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all. But I have never been more grateful than in this year of 2020. Each of our board members is a woman of achievement in my book. Tonight, we celebrate our 2020 Women of Achievement. Now it is my great joy to introduce our Women of Achievement honorees. We are delighted to present each of these empowered women with an original ceramic platter created especially for this occasion by local ceramic artist Danielle Kerlock. In addition to being a wonderful artist, Danielle taught our youth program students ceramics for 2 years through a partnership with Clayworks. We're thrilled to have reconnected with Danielle, and she has created these beautiful awards. YWCA has always encouraged young women to become leaders. We've had the privilege of being a part of this first honoree's life since her days in elementary school, through our after-school programs that she attended in the mid-1990s. It is my privilege tonight to recognize our emerging leader, Ashley Jackson. Ashley is committed to being the change she wants to see in the world. She uses her lived experience, growing up with her father federally incarcerated for a nonviolent drug offense since she was an infant, to fuel her ability to be a resource and an advocate for those directly impacted by mass incarceration. As a program assistant at the Center for Community Transitions, Ashley works with her colleagues to strengthen our community and to reduce recidivism by providing people with criminal records the tools and the resources that they need to rebuild their lives and find meaningful employment. Ashley is also an actionist with We Got Us Now, in a 3-year leadership program that focuses on actively engaging, elevating, and empowering young people impacted by family members held in the prison industrial complex. She speaks out for the rights of those incarcerated, inspired by the beautiful relationship she's been able to forge with her father through the decades and the distance. She's a sought-after speaker, whether serving on a panel for the Harvey B. Gantt Center's Unmasked series or guest facilitating a book club reading Michelle Alexander's The New Jim Crow. Ashley, we cannot wait to see where you will lead us. We are grateful for your commitment, energy, and hope. On behalf of the board and the staff of YWCA Central Carolinas, please join me in celebrating our 2020 Emerging Leader, Woman of Achievement, Ashley Jackson.
Thank you, Kirsten. Thank you, Kirsten, and the YWCA for honoring me alongside two incredible women, Valeda and Judy, who are giants in the community. As Kirsten stated, I did attend the YWCA's Youth Center as a child in Sunridge, where I can recall some of my best childhood memories. Although arriving to this point of my life has been a journey full of uncertainty, thank you 2020, one thing has been constant, and that is the incredible women that I have in my life. Some of them are actually in this room, and some of you are watching. So a huge thank you to all of you who continue to inspire me and motivate me every single day. I admire you all so much. So I'm just very, very thankful to accept this award as the Emerging Leader. Although, again, I am humbled to accept this award, I do accept the challenge. I accept the challenge to continue to show up in my community and do the work. So again, thank you to all of you. Congratulations to all of you, and I hope you enjoy this evening. Thank you.
Congratulations, Ashley. In the Community Champion category, we honor Valeda Fullwood. Valeda is a nationally recognized author, speaker, consultant, and philanthropist. Her award-winning hardback book, Giving Back, a tribute to generations of African-American philanthropists, was named one of the 10 best Black books of 2011 and received the prestigious 2012 McAdam Book Award. Valeda has been instrumental in changing the narrative around Black philanthropy, co-founding the new generation of African-American philanthropists Giving Circle and leading the BOLD project to identify and accelerate the growth of Black-led organizations in Charlotte. Ultimately, the goal of the BOLD project is to produce just and more just outcomes for marginalized groups and communities of color. Valeda organized Charlotte Learn and Lead forums, bringing Edgar Villanueva, the author of Decolonizing Wealth, to share his ideas about decentering whiteness and philanthropy and how we can better engage and invest in Black communities. Most recently, Valeda collaborated with Share Charlotte to observe Black Philanthropy Month in Charlotte, engaging funders, community members, and nonprofit leaders in a variety of virtual events. #CharlotteGivesBlack is a jumpstart to a new future of racial equity in the Queen City. Philanthropy, or love of humankind, should be equitable, accessible, and inclusive. Thank you, Valeda, for challenging traditional philanthropic norms and exemplifying YWCA's mission in your tireless work. Please join me in congratulating our 2020 Community Champion, Woman of Achievement, Valeda Fullwood.
Thank you, Kirsten, and thank you, YWCA, for this acknowledgement. I am honored to share tonight's awards with Ashley and Judy. It has particular significance to receive this award from the YWCA. I share its mission to eliminate racism, to empower women, and to promote peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all. I'd also like to thank Ellen Rankin, who nominated me for this award. Ellen is president of the Women's Impact Fund. And a special thanks to Diane Bailey and Charles Thomas, who contributed to Ellen's nomination. I appreciate their recognition of the power of collective giving. Ellen and Diane are part of Women's Impact Fund. Charles and I are part of New Generation of African American Philanthropists, another collective giving group here in Charlotte. I'd like to thank my family, their grounding and support and beliefs around philanthropic giving and our spiritual values provide the anchor and support that I need in this work, and I'm eternally grateful. And thank you for watching. Thank you for being in this space tonight. I'd also like to thank my friends who support me in a variety of ways, too many ways to count. And I'd like to thank members of New Generation of African American Philanthropists, my fellow Giving Circle members who have been collaborative, supportive, imaginative, and most of all, who trust me in working together to lead change in Charlotte. We hope to be bolder and to lead Charlotte's Black organizations in leading differently to create racial equity and racial justice in our community, a benefit for all of Charlotte. Again, thank you. Good night.
Congratulations, Valeda. The Lifetime Advocate category for YWCA's Women of Achievement Awards seeks to honor a woman who has exemplified a lifetime commitment to social justice. Tonight, we honor the good troublemaker, Judy Selden Cohen. For many years, Judy Selden Cohen has been a champion for justice. Judy and I met through our service on the board of the Charlotte Lesbian and Gay Fund, where she was known for her incredible volunteer championship of Time Out Youth. In recent years, Judy's advocacy has primarily focused on increasing affordable housing in our community. While she has always worked to ease immediate pain, she has been relentlessly committed to addressing root causes to make system changes. As a result of her efforts, our community has expanded housing for Charlotte's homeless and low-income population. Judy helped produce award-winning documentaries on social justice issues, such as Souls of Our Students. She co-authored a book, Guiding Synagogues on the Path to Civic Engagement, that received a National Jewish Book Award. Most impressively, she led to visioning and establishing the $26 million Away Home Endowment that helps our community's homeless and near-homeless families move toward housing and financial independence by providing subsidies and supportive services, an effort she currently chairs. Judy believes that if she can make a difference, organizing and training others to use their voices in advocacy can make a profound difference. As a volunteer organizer with the Stan Greenspon Center for Peace and Social Justice, Judy built strong coalitions by partnering with other organizations engaged in similar advocacy, meeting nearly 20 times with members of the Charlotte City Council. This coalition's efforts contributed to the passage of the first $50 million housing bond referendum, up from $15 million, and a greater share of new housing units funded for the lowest income housing rentals. It is an honor for us to be able to honor her. Please join me in celebrating our 2020 Lifetime Advocate Woman of Achievement, Judy Selden Cohen.
Thank you, Kirsten, and thank you to the YWCA for this honor. Valeda and Ashley, you are amazing. Even in the 2nd century, Rabbi Tarfon knew how hard it is to solve the world's problems. He taught that we did not need to complete this work, but we had to keep trying. This teaching relieves my stress when overwhelmed by the injustices in the world. A rabbi whose name you're more likely to recognize, Judy Schindler, recruited me a decade ago to help establish the Shalom Park Freedom School, reducing summer learning loss for 50 Charlotte students. The site grew and spawned 2 more freedom schools in Charlotte and a 3rd in Los Angeles. Perhaps Rabbi Tarfon knew the power of the first step to mobilize resources and inspire others to join in. An African proverb teaches, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Traveling together was the key to establishing Away Home, a program that to date has moved 700 people from homelessness into housing. Who knew that an unconventional idea conceived by lay leaders at a Phil's Deli monthly breakfast would actually materialize? That a rental subsidy program shifting people out of homelessness could also move most of them to self-sufficiency. The Away Home Endowment, built with the combined efforts of government, philanthropists, and corporate Charlotte, has done just that. and its impact will more than double over the next 3 years, with endowment growth and a sister program just started by Mecklenburg County. To go this far, we had to travel together. So many of the personal relationships that I value were created on these journeys to justice. The two that I've mentioned, and also with the Stan Greenspun Center, the Charlotte Lesbian and Gay Fund, Temple Bethel, and Carolina Jews for Justice. I'm grateful to my parents, Rachel and Maury Selden, who taught me to do what is right, even if difficult or unpopular. My best partner is Jeff Cohen, whose love and encouragement steadies me throughout all these journeys. Thank you.
Judy, Valeda, Ashley, what inspiration you've given to us tonight. Thank you for who you are, and thank you for helping us to celebrate the giving hearts who support the YWCA's mission. I want to thank each one of you in the audience for joining us tonight. Peace be with you, and good night.
My husband and I donate to the YWCA because we really, really love what the organization stands for and what it actually does. I mean, I think it's really important to find an organization that puts its money where its mouth is and really creates a positive impact for the community. So I think, for me personally, I think that the Women in Transition program is just wonderful. I think it's very organized. I think it really helps bridge that gap between disadvantaged women and just giving them that assistance that they need to kind of progress. And I think that kind of goes back to kind of seeing my mother struggle for a bit growing up. So I became aware of the YWCA around 7 years ago. I started volunteering with the organization and then also donating. So when I look at the mission of the YWCA to eliminate racism and to empower women, I mean, I think everybody can get on board with those two things. I think in particular, I think empowering women, that's what's really held me close to the organization. I think just by supporting women, especially disadvantaged women, women of color, we could really break the generational poverty that occurs in families. And I think that, again, being a first generation Latina, that's just huge for me. So I think that people have this perception that a lot of nonprofits and even the YWCA is just handouts, and that's not what's happening. I mean, I think the Women in Transition program, for example, holds their residents accountable. I think having coaches and having counselors and having people that really hold you accountable to those results is huge. When you actually look at the results from the Women in Transition program, for example, and their success rate, to actually see the results, I think that's what keeps me motivated, right? I mean, I think I believe it's over 80% of the women are in a better financial position after they go through the program. That's just huge for me. My name is Heidi Beth Amparo, and we are at the YWCA of the Central Carolinas.